Tulsa criminal defense attorney Stephen Cale here. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the procedures, or really kind of the stages of a victim's protective order. Victims' protective orders are sometimes referred to as VPOs. Some people call them restraining orders. This is for educational purposes. It's not legal advice, but some good information, good concise information about the stages. I think you'll get a lot of good information from it. The case starts with the filing of a petition for protective order, and I'll put an example in the notes below this video. You can see an example of that, how that's filled out, and so I'll put that up there. Just a couple of definitions. A petitioner is the person who brings the lawsuit or brings the petition for protective order. That's the person that's seeking relief from the court to command you or somebody to not do something. So the defendant, that's the accused person in the petition. That's the person who is going to defend against or try to fight, hopefully, against the protective order. So who can file one? Not just anybody can file one. There's a list or a category of people that can file in the state statutes. So in order for somebody to file a petition for protective order, they have to be either a victim of domestic abuse, a victim of stalking, a victim of harassment, or a victim of rape. Also, any adult household member can file on behalf of another family member or household member who's a minor or somebody that's incompetent and alleged to be a victim of either domestic abuse, stalking, harassment, or rape. And if you're a minor who is at least 16 or 17, you also can file a victim's protective order petition. So you have to be either one of those victims that I just talked about, an adult, a household member who you're filing on behalf of somebody who's a victim, or an incompetent person, or a 16 or 17-year-old. So now that we discussed who can file, we'll discuss where it can be filed. It can't be just filed anywhere. It's going to be filed in the district court. That's the county court. So it's going to have to be in the county court or district court where the alleged victim resides, or where the defendant resides, or where the alleged conduct took place, so alleged abuse, alleged harassment, alleged stalking. So it has to be filed in that county where that occurred. Now, after a petition is filed, there's going to be what's called an ex parte hearing. Now, when I say ex parte, I'm not talking about parte. Ex parte, that's just a Latin term meaning by or from. So by or from a party. It's just a single person that's doing that.
Just checking.
Okay. And so you have an ex parte hearing. It's going to be one person, not the other side, and a judge can either grant or deny relief. If granted, then an emergency protective order is issued, an EPO, emergency protective order, and that's just temporary in nature. So then a full hearing will be set to allow both sides to bring their case, to be heard, and that will be set within 15 days of the filing of the petition was filed. Okay, so you got the petition filed, you got your ex parte hearing, EPO will be issued, and then the defendant will have to be served with both the petition, the EPO, and a notice of hearing. So that's usually done by a sheriff's deputy. So if you get served with an EPO, an emergency protective order, and or a petition, a couple things. Don't say anything to the deputy. If you have questions about that, take a look at my blog, Top 10 Reasons Not to Talk to Police, on my website. Take a look at that. Don't talk to anybody about the situation unless you're talking to a lawyer, preferably me, Tulsa criminal defense attorney Stephen Cale. Give me a call at 918-277-4800. Your initial consultation is always free. Okay? So there's going to be a notice of hearing for the date, time, and location for the full hearing on the petition for protective order. Now, moving on to the full hearing stage. At the full hearing, the judge is going to call all the cases and will ask the petitioner, do you want to go ahead and proceed with this? The petitioner will say yes or no. If no, then the case is dismissed and there might be some costs assessed. If yes, then the judge will ask the defendant, do you contest this or do you agree to it? Never consent to or agree to an order being issued against you. There's too many consequences for getting a VPO issued against you. If you want to know more about that, take a look at my video on the consequences of having a victim's protective order issued against you, okay? Never, ever, ever consent to a protective order being entered against you. So if you do contest it, you need more time to either hire an attorney or present your case, then the case could be set off, or you can have a full hearing right there. Either way, there's going to be some kind of full hearing if there's not an agreement. And so at the full hearing, the judge will hear both sides, receive evidence. It could be documents, it could be just testimony, it could be just you, it could be other witnesses. And then the judge will make a decision and will either deny the petition, in which case the case will be dismissed, or grant it and issue some kind of orders. And I talk a lot about those orders in my other video about the consequences of getting a victim's protective order issued against you. They're pretty broad. You don't want one issued against you, okay? By the way, there is a way to defend against these. I do quite a bit of these, and they are defendable. I can get them dismissed, not in all cases. If I can't get it dismissed, I can certainly minimize the impact, but I do get quite a few of these dismissed. So you definitely want an attorney in these cases. So the judge will make a decision, and there'll either be a dismissal or a granting of the protective order. So don't go to a full hearing alone, get an attorney. And again, these cases are defendable. Again, I can't emphasize enough the impact that a VPO can have against you. So that's just kind of a broad general overview. If you have any questions, give me a call. Tulsa Criminal Defense Attorney Stephen Cale, 918-277-4800. Take a look at the notes below this video. That also has some helpful information on it.